Part 2 of the Learning is Personal Vision, Early Successes in our first year of implementation, 2019 to 2020.
Belasti's Portrait of a Graduate Vision challenges schools to create learning opportunities that grow and develop the skills and attributes within the Portrait of a Graduate competencies. And those are global citizen, communicator, personally responsible, creative innovator, leader and collaborator, and critical thinker.
Our mission is to build a learning community that meets the individual needs and the individual passions of the students that we serve. After 3 years of planning that began in January 2016, the Learning is Personal Vision was launched in August 2019. Our dedicated focus through time, training, and technology was in 6th grade math, but other early adopters included reading and language arts in 8th grade and select individuals in other subject areas. The architectural design team, using the text blended by Horn and Staker, selected a hybrid of the station rotation model as its instructional model. After much experimentation, 6th grade math implemented a small group blended learning instructional model in October 2019. This could be seen in self-paced instructional videos that varied the time and the pace of learning for students. Small group targeted support to meet the individual needs of students, as well as content experiences to learn mathematics. First, an important component of the vision is the measuring and communicating of learning for each individual skill and the focus on progress and growth in each one of those skills. Progress and growth in IXL is measured through the SMART score, an algorithm-derived measure of the confidence that the program has that the student is proficient or mastering that particular skill. A student at any time can demonstrate greater understanding and the SMART score will increase, thus emphasizing progress and growth. In the small group blended learning instructional model that the 6th grade math implemented, in the top, you'll see that students may be engaged in mathematical experiences, or in the bottom left, they'll be taking notes while watching a self-paced instructional video, or taking part in IXL skill building either on a specific skill or a skill that is specific to their needs, while the teacher in the bottom right is working in small group. Math 6 teachers would pull students almost daily using the IXL data that identified students that struggled in a particular skill. So the teacher could work with that small group on that particular skill with guided support, and then students could go back to IXL to demonstrate growth and progress by continuing to improve their SMART score. Once Math 6 fully implemented the small group blended learning instructional model in November 2019, we were able to compare unit assessment data from year to year to see how students did in this new model. This table compares the 2018-2019 local data to the 2019-2020 local assessment data for our 6th grade on-level students for the readiness standards. Prior to the model being implemented from August through October, you see a general decrease in growth from one year to another in the overall proficiency of students in particular skills, or just stability in a particular skill. But once the model is implemented from November through February, you see a clear indication, significant growth in the skills of our on-level students, or stability within the other 2 skills. For Math 6 pre-AP readiness standards, you see significant growth using the model in 2 particular skills. What you do not see in this data is in 2018-2019, the pre-AP students took great advantage of reassessment practices to demonstrate growth and progress in the skills, and the 2019-2020 is being compared against multiple reassessments by these students to demonstrate growth. So still great growth being seen. And lastly, side-by-side 6th grade math on-level and 6th grade pre-AP, comparing the last few units in the supporting standards. You can see the vast number of significant growth in green blocks demonstrate that students showed much more growth using the small group blended learning instructional model than prior to using that model. These early returns tell us the importance of individualizing the support we provide to our students and also providing individualized coaching and feedback in either individuals or in small groups. Another piece of data that we would like to share is the student survey data on how the students felt like the small group blended learning instructional model supported them in their learning of mathematics. First, 60% of the students said that the self-paced math learning with IXL and the small group instructional model helped students be more confident in doing math work this year, and they felt like they could be more successful in math this year than in the past. Second, almost 30% of students said they prefer the self-paced videos to learning math more than the teacher-led learning. But here in this graph, we see that 3/4 of the students find value in using these self-paced videos to help them learn the math content. Over 70% of the respondents say they prefer the self-paced math videos because it gives them the ability to pause and rewatch the videos, which also allows them to learn at their own pace. Third, almost 44% of the students prefer IXL for practice over math worksheets or activities, and almost 80% of the students say that using IXL allows them to learn more or about the same as using practice through worksheets and activities. A core belief at Atascocita Middle School is that students want to learn. They want to be challenged. And one of those ways is we need to develop a grading system that focuses on progress and growth. And the aspect of IXL that students preferred in their learning is that the SMART score gave an immediate rise or drop to let the students know, give them immediate feedback on whether they're learning the material or not. Fourth, with regard to small group instruction, almost 43% of students preferred small group instruction more than simply raising their hand and getting help from a teacher, while over 80% of the students say that small group instruction, they either prefer that more than raising their hand or about the same as raising their hand. And lastly, a very powerful measure of what students are thinking about the small group blended learning instructional model. Would you recommend that AMS continue its self-paced math learning with IXL and small group instruction? And out of the 114 responses, 70% of the students say yes, absolutely, move forward, while another 15% say yes, move forward with some improvements. Hopefully you were able to see early successes in the implementation of the Learning as Personal vision as seen through the small group blended learning instructional model, where we're focusing on the individual needs of students. Please stay tuned for future segments to talk about more information on the Learning as Personal components, current and future next steps, and what's needed from the entire AMS community to see the full impact of the Learning as Personal.